Buenos dias from Laos Point. This is the Rorschach Argentina update from the 25th of June, 2026. A quick summary of what's going down in Argentina. First order of the day, football. The World Cup fever continues to infect the country as Argentina started the week with a 2-0 victory against Austria on Monday the 22nd, securing a spot in the next round of the tournament after hitting the required 6-point mark in the group stage. Lionel Messi was once again the man responsible for the goals, although not everything was smooth sailing. Only 9 minutes into the match, he missed a penalty shoot awarded to the Albiceleste team after striker Lautaro Martinez was tackled inside the box by two rivals. However, the Argentine captain recovered and managed to score twice after that stunted beginning. This victory comes on a very special date for Argentine football history. 40 years ago, on the 22nd of June, 1986, Diego Maradona converted two of his most iconic goals in the quarterfinals match against England, the infamous Hand of God, and what has been widely acknowledged as the goal of the century. We can't talk about Lionel Messi without mentioning the media storm that was unleashed last Thursday after actress and presenter Florencia Peña wrongly announced during her show on streaming channel Luzu TV that the player's father, Jorge Messi, had died. The Messi family put out a statement saying Jorge was recovering from some health issues and condemned the spread of fake news. Nicolas Occhiato, the owner of the streaming channel, posted on social media that he was outraged and claimed there would be sanctions and an investigation to find out what happened. Peña was fired, along with the show's producers, as a result, amid a violent backlash from the public. So there's no denying that it has been a roller coaster of a week for Messi, who turned 39 on Wednesday the 24th after becoming the all-time leading scorer in a Men's World Cup. He celebrated his birthday in Kansas City, surrounded by friends and family, and his teammates surprised him with customized T-shirts bearing pictures with Messi and an emotional message. Fans in Argentina also joined in wishing the record-breaking Argentine captain a happy birthday during what is most likely his last World Cup run. Argentine journalist Rodolfo Barili championed a nationwide initiative to have the whole country sing Happy Birthday to Leo both at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. However, not all the celebrations had to do with football these past few days. The country also celebrated Flag Day on Saturday the 20th, marking 206 years since the death of the Argentine flag creator and national hero Manuel Belgrano. The city of Rosario in the Santa Fe province, home of the National Flag Monument, received a crowd of over 300,000 people. Like every year on this date, fourth graders from all over the country were there as well to promise loyalty to the flag, and the day ended with a concert by Abel Pintos. President Milei arrived that morning to lead the official celebration surrounded by political allies, which included his embattled chief of staff Manuel Adorni and his sister Karina. Significantly, Vice President Victoria Villarruel was not invited to the official function, although she did attend on her own, highlighting the distance between the head of state and his second-in-command. Manuel Adorni, on the other hand, remains close to the president and has his full support despite mounting pressure to have him removed from his post while the judicial system investigates a massive and seemingly unexplained increase in his assets. However, on Friday the 19th, National Deputy Adrián Ravier replaced him as presidential spokesperson. Ravier is an economist and accountant handpicked by Milei in a move expected to bring fresh air to the communication team of Casa Rosada. Press Secretary Javier Lanari has also stepped down from his post after 2.5 years in office. He has been replaced by veteran media presenter and institutional communication expert Fabian Fernandez, further proving that the government wants a new communication strategy, likely focused on economics. Speaking of economics, President Milei also issued a decree on Monday the 22nd that authorizes loans for up to $5 billion from banks ahead of upcoming debt payments, a measure that is backed by the World Bank and the Inter-American Development Bank. This decree lays down the legal framework needed to borrow money from banks under the jurisdiction of U.S. courts in an attempt to reduce the financing costs of the national treasury. These changes are expected to allow the country to get funding at an immensely lower rate, which is one of Economy Minister Luis Caputo's long-term goals. Caputo also delivered some good news this past Tuesday, the 23rd, as he revealed a 2.3 GDP growth in the first quarter of 2026 compared to last year, and a 0.7% growth in comparison to the last 3 months of 2025. These numbers mark an absolute all-time high for the first quarter. The industries that have shown the most growth are agriculture, mining, and financial services. Private consumption, being the largest component of the GDP, also played a big part in this triumph, since it saw a 2.7% increase compared to last year, mostly driven by higher imports of goods. President Milei celebrated this new record, claiming it debunked lies about consumer spending collapsing. However, according to a report issued by the University of Buenos Aires, UBA, salaries have lost 40% of their purchasing value compared to November 2023 levels. Accelerated inflation and a failure to adjust wages accordingly have resulted in a purchasing power that has been diminished beyond 2001 levels. In addition, formal employment remains roughly the same as it was in 2022, which clearly signals that the economy is unable to create new jobs, and the report claims these are all symptoms of a shrinking economy. Stepping out into the international stage, Javier Milei was among the first world leaders to congratulate recently elected Colombian President Abelardo de la Espriella, the ultra-conservative leader who calls himself the Tiger, won with a 49.66% of the votes. Milei posted a congratulatory message on Twitter declaring, "The lion and the tiger roar in Latin America," referring to himself and de la Espriella. Remember we mentioned Santa Fe a while ago? One of the most distinctive features is the Paraná River, which runs through the entire province and across several other Argentine provinces. Well, the government confirmed on Friday the 19th the concession of the Paraguay-Paraná waterway to a consortium made up of Belgian company Jan de Nul and local company Servomagnus. This waterway is a key commercial route of the country, and the state had been dredging and maintaining it since 2021. From 1995 to 2021, the waterway had been under the administration of another consortium that also included Jan de Nul up until the then president, Alberto Fernandez, decided against renewing the concession. It was also announced that the firms will carry out deepening work, which raised environmental concerns regarding the natural dynamics of the river. To close this episode on a lighter note, Argentine urban music legend Dante Spinetta will be performing a sold-out show on Friday the 26th at the Niceto Club, Buenos Aires. The artist, famously one half of iconic duo Ilya Kuryaki and the Valtheramas, will be playing his sixth and latest solo album, Dia 3, which was released earlier this year. You can find it on all major streaming platforms if you'd like to check it out. And if you'd like to know more about Dante Spinetta and his latest work, you can read an interview he did with Rolling Stone back in April. And that's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. Anything to ask us or tell us? info@rorschach.com. Nos vemos la próxima semana.